And we are live. We got a lot to talk about today. I'm very excited about some of the news that's going on today. Uh, Economically, boy, I wish it was better. Let's dig into it. First thing you may notice today is that we are not streaming live to Facebook. Something has happened, and we are not going to do it. We're not going to play this game. There's a con man, grifter, garbage. I don't know what his motivation is. I don't know whether it's just theft of just a few pennies, or if it's just some right winger trying to get us banned off of Facebook. I don't know what the background is of it, but you notice we've got some great music on this show. We do. The opening is Backyard Barbecue by Chris Haugen. The closing is Guava Juice by Aaron Lieberman. Two great pieces of music that we use because they are royalty free. Both of these artists, to promote themselves, have put this music out there for everyone to use into the public domain. Great move for these guys. Well, there are grifters that have gone out and they have found royalty-free music. They changed the title of it and upload it to things like iTunes, claiming it is their music. Then everyone that uses that music, they then claim the ad revenues off of your shows. It's pennies. It's nothing I'm worried about. I don't give a shit about that. I really don't. What Facebook pays out in ad revenues is nothing for a live. It really is. What bothers me is, though, for them to get it, I get a copyright strike. Now, follow me. Someone has stolen someone else's music, uploaded it as their own, claiming they have a copyright on it. And now, after every show, I have to go back and I have to contest this with Meta. Not doing it. Not doing it. Just not worth it. We're not going to put the lives up on Facebook. If you want to catch Texas Paul live, you've got to go to one of the either YouTube or Twitch. We're not doing it. We're not doing it. It's just not worth the trouble. I have way too much on my plate to deal with stupid shit like that. So, moving forward, there's been a lot going on, I tell you, folks, and this is just one of the things that just made me laugh. Oh my God, this made me, not this headline, but wait for the next headline. Oh my God, this just made me laugh. We talked about the Maduro indictment. The moment it came out, I was like, this is shit, man. This indictment is shit. If this is what they've got, he's going to beat the crap out of them. Well, Slate, I don't know if they were trying to grab headlines or what they were trying to do, but they put this out, and this headline just it made me laugh. It really did. Wait for it. Okay, this headline really made me laugh. This is the DOJ's charges against Maduro actually seem pretty strong. Okay. Except that when you go into the Slate, and folks, I'm telling you, go read this article. And this is why. Whoever wrote the headline was, I don't know if they thought this would catch more views or what, but it is a really good breakdown of the charges against Maduro. But even in their own article, it's like paragraph 3. They just They say themselves. Still, the disturbing and complex facts of the Maduro arrest during an apparently illegal military raid of the country Maduro was leading makes this case anything but a slam dunk. Yada, 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 yada. I mean, in their own article, they blow up their own headline, folks. They do. It's hilarious. But that's not what really made me laugh. If you've been watching the show, if you're brand new to the show, you may have missed this segment. But the minute the indictments came out, I brought up the indictments for you. I put a link in the description for you to go back and read it, and I pointed out some glaring problems with it. And this is the one that was the most clownish. This is the one that was the most stupid. This is the one that just made me laugh out loud. You remember we talked about the Cartel de los Sols? Remember we talked about that, and I pointed out, no, that is slang. That is not a thing. That is not a thing. There is no Cartel de los Sols. There isn't. That was slang from the Venezuelan media referring to corruption in the military. That was not a real thing. That would be like, and I pointed out, I showed you where it comes from. The generals in the military don't put stars on their shoulders. They put suns on their shoulders, or souls in Spanish. And this is where it comes from. This is where that tongue-in-cheek thing comes from, where they're talking about corruption in the military. And I pointed out there is no Cartel de los Sols. It doesn't exist. It's literally just a dig. It's a slang. I guess insult is the word you're looking for. It's them, calling out. It's them calling out corrupt leadership is all it is. But it's in the indictment, and I want you to let that sink in for a little bit. They just made up an indictment. This indictment did not go through investigation. It didn't. And I brought receipts. That indictment was written up in Pam Bondi's office. That's not how that works, folks. That is not how that works. A U.S. attorney works with law enforcement. Law enforcement does the investigation. The U.S. Attorney's Office then takes the material from that investigation and chooses what to charge. Now, if they need more information or whatever, they'll go back to law enforcement and say, hey, look, I'm going for this charge, but I need this data to connect the dots, to make it work, so that, when I take this to court before a judge and a jury, I can prove my case. None of that happened. And you want to know how you know that didn't happen? Because this happened. Scott 7907, thank you for being here. Love to see the new supporters, man. Noam came to McAllen in her cowboy costume. She easily passed judgment in Minneapolis. She easily passed judgment in Minneapolis. When asked by a local why construction ground to halt her due to raids on work sites, she had no clue. Let me try that again. When asked by a local why construction ground to a halt here due to raids on work sites, she had no clue. No, she didn't. And I will tell you, all right, great point. There is a great video out there. Remind me later on in the show. I'll dig it up for you. Democrats just nailed this, that she is not running this department. In the middle of a hearing, Jared, I'm having a brain lock on this, from Florida. Come on, Jared, 1 second. I'll just bring you the video. Jared Moskowitz. You know what? I'll do it later in the show. I don't want to lose my groove here. I'll do it later in the show. He just rails about the fact that and calls out Republicans that when you want to talk about something with DHS, you don't call Christie. No, you call Corey. He said, referring to Corey Lewandowski. Corey Lewandowski is running DHS, and he's never been affirmed. And he also pointed out that Christy Nome has never sat before their committee ever to answer any questions because she can't. She can't. She's a bobblehead. She's literally a bobblehead. Her job is to run around and pretend to be a model. That's her job. She's dumb as a box of fucking hair. She really is. Anyways, back to what we were talking about. This happened. This is how you know that none of this indictment actually went through the investigative process. Because once it hit the actual point of needing to work with actual prosecutors. Now, remember, Pam Bondi's not going to prosecute this. She had to take this indictment that was written out of her office and hand it to she had to assign it to an actual U.S. attorney. She had to assign this to an actual prosecutor. And when she did, that prosecutor started asking questions. Okay, you've alleged a lot of shit here. What do we have to connect these dots together so that I can take this to a court of law and actually prove my case? And the first thing they did was look at that made up bullshit. They pulled a cartel out of their ass. And that's the first thing they culled out of the indictment. There is no more Cartel de los Sols from Venezuela. As far as the American government is concerned, it no longer exists. Yeah, that really just happened, man. That really just happened. Did I call it or did I call it? You know, Maduro is a piece of shit. He really is. And I really want you to go back and read that Slate article. I really do. Because they're talking to an actual prosecutor. And he talks about ways that this case actually could have been made. It could have been a strong case. But they probably screwed the pooch. One second. That is so glaring. Whew, in my face. I got to turn that down. Thank you. They have probably destroyed their own case so far. ZOA 1561. And again, I say it all the time, folks. I know I'm repetitive. I'm sorry about that, but I say it all the time. I know they're going to do awful shit. And I know there's going to be awful things between now and 2028. I know it. I know it's going to be true. But folks, they're incompetent. They're incompetent at every level. So yes, while they're going to do awful shit, we are going to win. We are going to overcome this. It's just how deep of a sewer pit are they going to leave us with to clean up by the time we get there? I mean, there are things going on that are just a disaster in this. And if you are someone that lived through the 80s, you'll understand what this word is. Quantitative easing. It's back. Yeah, I'm not even kidding. Quantitative easing is back. The economy is in such a... If you lived through the 80s, you know what that is. Interest rates were out of control. They couldn't get them back under control. So they engaged in quantitative... It was new then. It was a new maneuver then. It is not now. This is what it is, so that you know, okay? I want you to imagine, they do this with bonds. Trump has ordered that we take $200 billion of our tax money and buy bonds. And I'm, don't take my word for it. Trump has said this out loud. There are headlines. You can go read them. Trump is going to take $200 billion and buy bonds with them. Now, folks, that is quantitative easing. And this is what that means. And I can break this down for you really freaking simple. Okay. Y'all know I've gotten into woodworking, right? That's my thing. And I've got a Harley Davidson that I just don't ride anymore. I just don't. It's just sitting in the garage. It's dusty. I've got to wash it again. I've had to put a new battery in it because I just don't ride the damn thing. So I'm going to sell it. But I want the price of it to be high. I don't want to sell it cheap. I want to sell it high. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sell it to myself first. And I'm going to sell it to myself for twice market value, man. I'm going to dump a shitload of money into this Harley. I'm going to buy that thing. I'm going to buy it. I'm going to buy my own Harley. That's why it's worth twice market value, because I've already bought it for twice market value. I'm creating competition with my own money for my own motorcycle. It's bullshit. That's the only way I can sum this up for you. Quantitative easing is bullshit. Now let's take that example and apply it to bonds. What's happening? We've talked about this before. It's really simple. Bond prices are directly correlated to bond yields. Bond price is what you pay up front for the bond. Bond yield is the interest it pays you back for buying it. When bond prices are low, yields have to go up to make them attractive. When bond yields are high, those interest rates affect your borrowing rates. They directly affect what you pay for loans, right? If loan rates are high, you're not buying a lot of shit. This is why people talk about the economy in the 80s. It was not great. It really was not great. It wasn't. That's all quantitative easing is. They're going to go into the bond market and they're going to buy a ton of bonds to try to make them more attractive, to make less bonds out there in the market for people to buy, to make them look more attractive. One second. Glenn Kaneko, I love the statement, dumb as a box of air. Also, are you implying that Lindsay actually did write the indictment of Maduro? I was joking. I'm telling you. I am telling you. That came out of Bondi's office. It did. Fabulous Jones, thank you for supporting the show. Okay, so this is where we're at, right? They're going to take $200 billion of your own tax dollars, and then they're going to buy your own bonds. That's no different than me buying my own motorcycle. And they're going to do it to take bonds out of the market to try to make the bonds that are left more attractive. If they're more attractive, they sell for more. They don't have to raise the yield so high to try to sell them. It's bullshit. It's smoke and mirrors. It is. Quantitative easing is bullshit. It is just trying to hide an underlying sickness that no one wants to buy our bonds, so yields are spiking. And they know yields are spiking. And this is why they're doing it. They are desperate. ET, didn't they also quantitative QE during the Great Recession? Meanwhile, the Mad King is trying to hide all of this with his oil capers. Get involved, people. ET, yeah, the quantitative easing is a desperation measure. Yeah, back in 2007, 2008, when everything collapsed, we had to engage in quantitative easing. And this is why you do it, folks. This is why you do it. You do it to try to get big investors to buy into a market. You do. We're facing a housing market collapse. We've talked about this before. One second. Now the spin, I want to tell you the spin first, and then we're just going to just vaporize that spin. Mr. Knudsen, thank you. Paying double your own debt just to double the fall. Yeah, I know. Quantitative easing is shit. It is nothing. Chandra Patton, filling my mobile cussing pond. I'm glad you're enjoying it, Chandra. I really am. Thanks for supporting the show. Scott 7907. Didn't Enron try to do something like this? It is really that. It is not. When you're engaged in quantitative easing, you are in the shitter. You are desperate. You are desperate. They can't slash interest rates because of inflation. And they have massive inflation because of the tariffs. These are all dominoes that are falling. And here's what they're trying to hide. Just a couple more things, and we're going to get into why we're going to vaporize what they're trying to say. Creative accounting. Yeah, no shit. No shit. Omniscient Sphinx. Hey, Paul, I love that there was an ACA extension and passed the WAR Act to stop Trump. But who in God's name are Republicans trying to fool? There is no way they can redeem to save themselves in the midterm. Yeah, we're going to talk about that more. We're going to talk about that more. Y'all are always ahead of the conversation. I love you people so much. The home builders are all in Mexico. That's one of the things driving up housing prices is new construction is gone. But this is a problem. This is the bubble bursting. Okay. This is happening. Investors are selling off their houses at an alarming rate to cut their losses. They know the bubble's bursting. And the first people that bail are the big money people. They're ahead of the curve. Your average Joe Doe is not tuned into the markets. They're not tuned in like everyone else. The first people to jump out the airplane and pull the ripcord are the big investors, and they are dumping houses. That's just a fact. You can Google it yourself. It's just a fact. So they engage in this spin. They're trying to say the reason they're engaged in quantitative easing is to make housing more affordable, to bring mortgage rates down, to make housing more affordable. That is simply not true. That is simply not true. Housing prices are falling on their own because investors, which drove up the housing market, are bailing. You check with anybody that lives in Florida, check with anybody that lives in Arizona. Just about any major hot market is already in free fall. Already. And it is spreading out throughout the rest of the country. So no, this is not a move to make buying houses cheaper for you and me. That is not why he's doing this. This is why he's doing this. And again, he's adding to the spin this. This was in an announcement that he's going to do something that he cannot do. Exactly. I love you people so much. I love you. I swear to God, I love you people. The amount of knowledge that is, I'm telling you, if you're watching this in replay and you're not watching with the live with the chat panel open, you're missing 2/3 of the show. There are parallel conversations going on. It's distracting trying to do the show because sometimes I get lost in your conversations. Exactly. I'm not even going to try that name. I'm going to go with Noda Cattle. But yeah. The investors said you can't lose money on houses. We'll just buy up all these houses that are cheap right now. We'll buy them up, and then we'll hold on to them till they get real expensive. And in the meantime, we'll just rent them out as Airbnbs and make money that way. That was the plan. Now they're at the part of the plan where the market is dying, so they're selling. They're selling. Prices are coming down. No, quantitative easing is not to make it more affordable for you to buy a home. That is happening already. Investors are bailing on this housing market. Our banks are in worse shape now than they were in the 2007, 2008 crash. They have more exposures to derivatives now. Trump is desperate, absolutely desperate to keep this housing bubble from bursting. So he's trying to make those houses more attractive to big investors. That's what quantitative easing is about. If he can get those interest rates down, it's not going to affect really you and me. It is going to affect the bottom line of the big investors that are holding these massive portfolios. They may hold on to those houses a little bit longer. That's what it's about. But this is what I'm talking about. This is a reality TV grifter bullshit. So Trump comes out and he says this. Trump moves to ban big investors from buying single family homes. What move? What move? That is to hide the fact that he just took $200 billion of our tax money, dumped it into the bond market, took our tax money to buy our bonds, just like me going out and buying my own motorcycle to drive up the price, to try to bring interest rates down for his big institutional investors to not dump their inventories that they're already starting to dump, to try to hide the housing crash that is happening. And then they put a headline like that out that you'll notice it didn't get a lot of play because everybody said that's bullshit. What did you do? Because there's nothing you can legally do. You can't tell BlackRock they can't buy a house. But he literally just pretended to do that. Oh man, I hope your coffee's as good as mine. Mine is just mine is good today. Whew. Thank you. Thank you. Oh my God, that is so good. Why? Why did he say that? One, to hide the fact that, again, he just dumped 200 billion, 1/5 of $1 trillion he's dumping into the bond market for institutional investors. He doesn't want to take the hit for that politically when people are struggling. And we're going to talk about that here in just a second. He doesn't want it to, he doesn't want to own the fact that, yeah, I'm doing this for the bigs because the housing market is collapsing. And why is the housing market collapsing? The economy's shit. The economy is shit. Even with large investors holding their properties, housing markets were falling because people are losing their jobs. Because these tariffs have poisoned our economy. And that is ultimately what he's made his whole brand about these tariffs. And he cannot get away from them. So when these crashes happen, he knows that's it. That's the end. Even stupid people can understand that. So yeah, they're going to take $200 billion of your money to dump into the bond market to cover up their bullshit crash. And when I say crash, I mean crash. It is, I mean, this is a mess. I mean, this is a mess. And I just want to show you this. This is 10-year treasuries right now. He's talking about the need to lower interest rates to make it cheaper for you to buy a house. And I just want to show you and add one more thing. I don't want to make this too convoluted, too much. I don't want your eyes to glaze over from the economic shit. This is bond yields over the last year. They have come down already. So no, that this chart alone shows you that, quantitative easing isn't something that you would be doing right, because it really is it's a Hail Mary. It's a desperation act. I mean, this chart alone should show you why would you be engaged in quantitative easing now? I mean, this is, 5 years. You go back 5 years, you're back into territory where the housing market was booming, because they're desperate to get those interest rates down. They're desperate to get those interest rates down, and they don't give a shit about the inflation. They can't force the Fed to do it, because the Fed is independent, and the Fed is telling us we cannot cut interest rates. Inflation will just skyrocket. We can't. So Trump said, screw you guys. I'll engage in quantitative easing. I will piss $200 billion worth of tax money away to try to force them down myself. And folks, who do you think's smarter about the economy? Who do you trust more? Do you trust Trump or do you trust the Fed? Which one do you trust more to understand what's going on economically? And which one do you believe is not acting politically? It's the Fed. They've got no political dog in this fight. Their only incentive is to try to create the best economic environment possible. And they're telling us we can't cut rates. We just can't. Mr. Newton, companies stopped buying homes the moment Trump's speech ended. Oh, wait. Yeah. So anyways, piss $200 billion of your money goodbye. Meanwhile, U.S. aid can't exist. We can't feed starving kids. We can't have soft diplomacy. We can't compete with China because, we can't spend that money. We can't go into third world countries and make their life better through soft diplomacy, low interest loans, help them with their infrastructure. Hell, we can't even work on our own infrastructure because we don't have the money, but we got $200 billion to throw into bond markets for Johnny Gotrocks to try to stave off a crash that they themselves fucking created. We got all the money in the world for that. And y'all are mad at me for saying Luigi had a point. Meanwhile, the jobs report came out, and I don't mean ADP's, I mean the government's job report. Normally, you get the ADP numbers. I really like those. I really think they're closer to reality. Every time they do a revision of the government job numbers, they end up being closer to the ADP numbers. But yeah, the government's numbers weren't much better. They weren't much better. We created in December, in the middle of Christmas, the Christmas season, we created 50,000 jobs. This is what the job market has looked like under Trump. I mean, this is what the job market has looked like under Trump. The government says we added 50,000 jobs. And then Republicans are screaming, "Oh, hey, but the unemployment numbers ticked down 0.1% from 4.5 to 4.4%. Woo, that must be a good thing." No, it's not. It's not, and I'll explain why. Fairy dust. How did this con artist win 2 terms? He's number one worst president. Um, I a big part of it is the economy. The economy. The Biden administration told us, look, we're facing some economic headwinds here. There's going to be a slowing in the economy. We're going to have to incentivize a few things. They didn't have the tariffs in place, so they had room to cut interest rates. There was a plan. But yeah, the economy was slowing. That was part of it. Then you've got the bigotry. Then you've got, just the stupidity of I've talked about it all. The Gaza bots, all of it. It all came together into a perfect freaking storm. And we've got the stupidest, worst president in the history of the United States of America. Kira loves Michael. Thank you for being here. Thank you for always supporting the show. I'm truly grateful. Peter Campbell, everything is looking up. Farm foreclosures, business bankruptcy, food, fuel, energy costs, so much winning. Let me tell you something. Me and Mrs. Texas Paul were in Kilgore the other day. And there's a restaurant there that's kind of iconic. I won't call it out because she didn't give me permission to talk about it. But the lady that runs the restaurant and I had a conversation. And she told me under no uncertain terms, they will be more than likely closing their doors next month. And this is a restaurant that's been around Kilgore, Texas forever. They said they're just not making it. And then she listed off half a dozen other restaurants that had already closed. Kilgore, Texas. That is the hub of the East Texas oil industry. It was a fucking ghost town. I'm telling you, under the Biden administration, when you pulled into the parking lot of this restaurant, there was maybe one space if you were lucky. You may have to go park next door at the movie theater. We pulled in for lunch. There were 2 pickup trucks in the parking lot. That's it. I mean, it's not a joke. What you just said is not a joke. There are bankruptcies happening everywhere. Everywhere. I mean, the crash is happening in real time around us. But they're pretending it's not. They are. They're just pretending it's not. I mean, you're getting headlines like this. December jobs report missed forecasts while unemployment defies expectations. They're literally running articles where they're saying, oh, yeah, we missed the job numbers, but don't pay attention to that. Don't pay attention. Squirrel, look at the squirrel over here. Unemployment ticked down 0.1%. And they're saying it like it's a good thing. Folks, in our economic environment, do you know why unemployment would tick down 0.1%? Do you understand why that would happen? It was Christmas. Temp jobs. And people gave up looking. Those are the only 2 things. The December temp jobs that always happen every season, seasonal hires, and people gave up looking. There is nothing driving this economy. There was no new hiring. Yet this is going on right now. I mean, this is what's going on with the AI bubble. This is the last month. with all of this economic news. They know they aren't making money. They know they aren't. But yet the Dow continues to climb. Unimpeded, unabated. They know there's no ROI on all of their AI investments. They're getting no return on their investment, on their AI investment. They know the AI bubble is bursting. They know the housing bubble is bursting. Yet, man, they are drunk as can be. They know the valuations make no sense. Earnings to valuation separation is the highest it's been since the last crash. They know. They know. But they're just drunk buying. They're just drunk buying. Literally, our financial publications are putting out articles that, well, yeah, jobs sucked again. I guess we're in a recession now. But hey, unemployment ticked down, so it must be okay. It must be okay. Unemployment ticked down because it was fucking Christmas. Seasonal hires, temp jobs that just went away. Guess what January's numbers are going to look like, folks? Right now, big firms like BlackRock are selling off their houses. They are. The big institutional investors are selling their homes. That is happening. That tells you what's going to happen with the real estate market. Because if the real estate market was going to continue to climb, they would not be selling their homes. That's like selling stock, because to them, a home or a bond or an investment is a bond or a stock. It's no different. It's just an investment. And they're telling you that investment is not worth keeping anymore. ET, unemployment only reports people that are on the rolls. Many states have limited numbers of weeks that you can stay on the rolls. So once you time out, you fall off the rolls. This is a feel-good number. And it's not even a feel, it's the same number, 4.5, 4.4. Is that any difference to you? It's not to anyone else. It's not to any investor. It's not. It's just not. So anyways, that's what's going on. Trump is literally taking hundreds of billions of your dollars and engaging in quantitative easing, which is literally just taking money out of this pile and putting it into this pile and pretending this pile isn't in as much trouble as it was. Whenever you hear the words quantitative easing, grab onto your wallet and hold on for dear life, because shit has gotten bad. Shit has gotten really bad. SFL6, thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting the show. I'm super grateful for all you new supporters. I cannot stress enough how important you are. Well, new video has come out in the Renee Good shooting. We're likely, I don't know if we're going to take a hit on this or not. We're probably not going to get the ad revenues off this show because of this video, but you've got to see it. You've just got to see it. This is somebody that I follow. It's called the National Desk. They will take news clips from other news folks, and they will replay the clips without the over the top of them. I like this, but they have released this on YouTube, so they may kill but it is worth that. That's how important this video is, folks. When I show you this video, I want you to pay attention to a couple of things. This is a view of Renee Good's car from the front, and it is not a close-up. You're not going to see the gory shooting. You're not going to see that at all. You can barely see. If you look really closely, you can see her waving. But I want you to pay attention to the fact that 2 cars drive by her unimpeded. 2 cars drive by her. Then you see the truck full of ICE people, and they start screaming at her to move. They told her to move her car. You can see in this video, this is from the front of the car. This is black and white security video off of either somebody's garage or somebody's house. From the next block, you'll see the fence. You'll see the fence. This is somebody's video. But it clearly shows she did not try to run that officer down in any way, shape, or form. It clearly shows that they told her to move. She tries to wave them by because cars have already driven by. They get out, so she tries to move. Watch this, and I want to talk about something else on the other side of it. Again, I'll play it for you, but I want you to pay really close attention to the fact that he's not in front of her car. You can see that she's trying to make a left-hand turn. They're screaming at her to move. So she turns her wheels to the right and she just pulls out. This is from the national desk, people. It's a good follow. It really is. They took, they give credit here. They obtained this video from CNN, but they're, not all the bullshit. None of the graphics over it and none of the talking head shit. But you can see here the fences and it's from somebody's house. Her car, you can see it there with the eyes of officer there. Let me play it for you. Clearly trying to take a left-hand turn. Truck pulls up. 2 cars have already driven by. She's not obstructing them. They're screaming at her to move, so she does. And you can clearly see she does not try to run that officer over. I mean, it's just plain as day. That was a murder. That was a straight up murder. Who has Bill? Thank you for always being here, brother. Thank you for always being here. I appreciate it. 1 ticket to the movie, please. But yeah. And there's something else that I want to call your attention to. I'd like you to go back. I'm not going to keep playing videos of that. I'm not. But I want you to go back at your leisure, and I want you to take a look at, especially the video from the left side of the car. One ICE officer, and only one, draws his weapon. None of the other ICE officers, even after there are shots fired, draw their weapon. None of them. One or two of them cover their faces. They just, with their hands. None of them draw their weapons. Just the one. And again, I'm not going to get into the outing of this guy, but Kristi Noem, and this is what I'm talking about. They're so idiotic. On one hand, they're telling you, we can't tell you who this person is. We can't tell you who this guy is. And then Christy Nome tells you he has been drugged by a car before. Oh, really? Everybody that wanted to know exactly who this guy is just Googled that. Because this idiot, this is the second incident he's been involved with a vehicle where he did not follow policy. This is the second time he didn't follow policy. The first time, he reached into a car of someone that was fleeing and got pinned into the car and drugged. Ended up getting 30 stitches into his arm for the shattered glass, from the window. Totally against department policy. Didn't learn anything. And then walked up to the front of this lady's car. And folks, the first bullet that went through the windshield came from that direction. Not that direction. Not in the front of the car. He had already moved out of the way when he opened fire on her. He stood in front of her car while they were screaming at her to move. As she slowly began to roll forward, he stepped out of the way and started shooting at her from this direction. The first shot you see through the windshield where it's by the cross member, the A support. I mean, it's right there. It's right there. It's from this angle, not this angle. This isn't grassy knoll bullshit. You can go back and look at the video. You can see the bullet hole in the window and in the windshield. It is from over here. Not here, over here. He was out of the way. The car's going this way. And then the next shots came through an open window. Now, I'm sorry, but I don't know how, unless you've got 12-foot long arms, you cannot stand in front of a Honda Pilot and shoot into an open window. I don't think this guy has 12-foot long arms. This was a murder. This was a murder. Kit B08 protesting tomorrow in Newport News, Virginia. Glad to hear it. Be peaceful. Be peaceful and don't attack the local PD. They didn't do shit. But folks, there's one more thing that I want to add beyond. You can clearly see from this video that she did not hit this guy. She didn't. Where the bullet came from tells you she did not hit this guy. She didn't. He fired at her from the left side of her car. They were screaming at her to move. She didn't impede traffic. You saw traffic pass right in front of her. She was attempting to turn left. And they wanted her to go the other direction, which is what she did. And they shot her in the face for it. They murdered her. They murdered her. And now they're trying to disparage her. Fox News really ran an article that said that she had pronouns in some of her social media, which makes it okay with the bigots. I mean, really, it's okay because a member of the LGBTQI plus community, their life is worthless to them. So yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. She had pronouns. She was a lesbian. So yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter, right? I mean, her life didn't matter. And the last thing I want to leave you with, they had no jurisdiction. They didn't have jurisdiction to enter her car. They didn't have jurisdiction to detain her. This was ICE. If ICE tells me pull over, fuck you. You have no jurisdiction. I want to look in your car. Fuck you. You have no jurisdiction. You're not a cop. You're not a street cop. You're not the FBI. You're not Treasury. You're fucking nobody. You have no jurisdiction over me. None. Your jurisdiction is absolutely limited to the borders and border enforcement. That's it. You're not cooperating. Fuck you. You have no jurisdiction. They had no jurisdiction over her. None. None whatsoever. Not to enter her car, nothing. She didn't impede them in any way. You're looking at us and we don't like it. Well, guess what? You're a fucking murderer. And I hope they have, I don't know this, but I hope they have the death penalty in Minnesota. Because right now, what you have going on is Kash Patel and the FBI is refusing to cooperate with the Minnesota State Police in an investigation on this. They're denying them evidence. They're refusing. The FBI is refusing to cooperate with local law enforcement to investigate this. The county DA, the county district attorney, has said they're going to pursue charges. Rena Scott, 7631. The problem is that these MAGA cult ICE agents know they will get an automatic pass from Rump. He cannot do anything about state or local charges. Nothing. And they and attorneys have come out. They're one of the premier defense attorneys in the country that deals that represents law enforcement, who has never settled a case, has never pled out a case, sat down and wrote an article and said, I would tell this client to plead guilty. I would tell this client to make a deal. Because the first shot, I may be able to nullify the jury, but the next two shots, I cannot. You're guilty. Plead. But yeah, Gnome freaking ID'd this guy. Gnome ID'd this guy. Fox News blared this out all over everybody. So everybody went to Google. They Googled ICE agent dragged by car and immediately had his name, matched up his face. So he's been completely outed. Everybody knows who he is. And I got to tell you, some Republicans are now starting to, Tillis, Chandra Patton, like as my grandma used to say, like a cat covering up shit. I love that. I love that. I love that. I really do. Vince, thank you for always being here, brother. Thank you for always supporting the show. I'm truly grateful. Mr. Newt, sorry, Paul, death penalty was ended in 1911. Ironic number, Colt and all that. Yeah. Good. Let him spend life in prison, in a Minnesota prison. Enjoy your Minnesota prison winters. And this is the last I'm going to say about that guy. Not only did he have no business, he had no business being an ICE agent. He failed the first time. He was injured because he failed to follow department policy and tried to do some Hollywood cowboy shit and ended up getting drugged by a car. Learned nothing and ended up murdering an innocent person that did nothing, that they had no jurisdiction over. New West Bill, ICE folk better hold on to the big money they're getting. Lawyers are expensive. Amen. Amen. Fabulous Jones, there but for the grace of God go I. Kim HR Guru, Abbott ignored Biden on razor wire. Rio Grande, Minnesota needs to push on. Yep. But yeah, Republicans are starting to feel the heat from this because, folks, we're going to talk about what happened after the shooting. It didn't get any better throughout the day. It didn't. Republicans are really starting to call it, and like I said, Jared Moskowitz called her out. You know what? Let me find that video for you. Shouldn't take me long. I believe this is it. Let me play it for you. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but you'll get the idea.
This is the person. This is the person who, within minutes of the shooting, went on TV and called it domestic terrorism. What is she, hiding her face like her ICE agents now? She can't show her face either? By the way, is this what the $800 billion went to? Every day we see her after there's some new tragedy in Homeland, she's wearing a different outfit with a different hat. I mean, come on, guys, she looks ridiculous. She's not just an embarrassment to the country. She's an embarrassment to you and the president. Okay, she deserves to be removed from her job by the president, and if not impeached, not just for her complete failures in Homeland, but her destruction of FEMA. She's not even running the department. You guys know this. You guys know she's not running Homeland. Your governors and you all, when you need your FEMA money, you don't call Noam, you call Corey. You know she's not running the place.
Yeah, I think that's pretty cut and dried. Rowdy Ruth, thank you for supporting the show. Glad to see the new supporters, man. Appreciate you coming out with the big guns, Ruth. I really do. Thank you. Morning to you, Alicia Hall. Glad you're here. Thank you for being a new supporter. And this is before you get into there are stories cooking around Kristi Noem where she is funneling money through. There's a Delaware share. Oh, boy, I am tongue tied today, folks. I'm sorry. Delaware shell company that people are trying to figure out who owns it. That DHS has funneled hundreds of millions of dollars into, that are then in turn funneling money into companies that are owned by people tied to Kristi Noem, and they're the ones shooting the commercials of her riding horses. Every time she turns around, she's riding a horse, or pretending to herd cattle, or paying for all that bullshit. Literally just funneling it to people around her. That's the kind of investigation you're going to get after the midterms, folks. I mean, shit is going to get hot for Turkey Neck. Jan Richenberg, 2680. I can't believe the cover up. They're justifying murder. They're not justifying murder. They're not. They're lying about murder, but they're not justifying it. You can believe your own eyes. Jeff Schuler, 68. He also left the scene in under 2 minutes. He knows he was in the wrong the moment he pulled the trigger. He's so screwed. He is so screwed. But they didn't stop there, folks. They didn't stop there. This is going on. Minneapolis schools have canceled classes because just after murdering Renee Good, in an operation that had no planning, hundreds of ICE agents descended on Roosevelt High School, just blocks away from where they murdered Renee Good, and had no plan, no warrants, did not notify the school they were coming. Nothing. As students were being let out of classes, they just ran up and started attacking people. And I mean attacking people. Folks, they arrested one teacher in this raid. One teacher who is an American citizen and released a couple hours later. They went into a school and did this. They went into a school and did this. Made one arrest that was bullshit. It was of an American citizen. They have no fucking jurisdiction to be doing what they're doing. This wasn't even a planned raid. There was no plan. Let me show you some of the things that went on. This is them attacking students because they don't like what the students are saying. They just lost their shit. Watch the students on the right side of your screen. Watch what happens. And I've got it from another angle. I'm going to show you here in just a second. But watch what happens here. They run up and start pushing and punching students. The students raise their hands, and then another ICE agent runs in, jumps on top of a student, and drags him to the ground. And then they gang pile on top of the student. That student wasn't arrested, by the way. Here's from another angle. You can see it from the back side. I'm not playing audio because it's kids screaming at the top of their lungs. It's just shrill screaming. You can see here the agent runs up and starts shoving students, and then they jump on top of this one student. Watch. Oh wait, no. Pardon me. This is the one where they start shooting tear gas, pepper spray at students. Hold on. Wrong video. Hold on. Let me pull the other video up. Okay, this is from the backside with that student. Watch. He runs up and he starts pushing students. They're not doing anything. He just says, "What the hell are you doing, man? What are you doing?" And that ICE agent comes in, flops on his back. That is not, no one is trained to do that. No one is trained to flop on their back. Look, the agent's just shoving people, screaming at people. Then another agent runs in, grabs him, and flops on his back and pulls the kid down on top of him. And then they collapse on top of the kid. Those are children. Those are high school children. There was no plan. They didn't cordon off any areas. They did nothing that you would do in a raid. They didn't notify the school that they were going to be there. They just went and picked some fights with some kids. Yes, exactly. Child abuse. In the same afternoon, ICE engaged in a murder and then child abuse. And yet you've got the vice president and the head of the Department of Homeland Security, the pretend head of the Department of Homeland Security, running around calling American citizens terrorists. They're calling that kid a terrorist. Republican politicians are running out to every camera they're saying, "Oh, you need to stop screaming at them. You need to stop screaming at them. You need to stop protesting law enforcement." Bullshit. Bullshit. We need to be protesting on the next level. We need to be protesting everywhere. And, I have been one of those people that have been, look, man, don't go to their hotels and stuff. Don't do that. Don't harass them in off hours. Protest, make your point, get your message out. Bullshit. Go to the hotels. Never let one of these motherfuckers get an ounce of sleep. Ever. Bang pots. Everything that is legal to do, do it. Do it. 100%. 100%. These people are scum. Scum. And I cannot wait till after the midterms when we can start doing investigations into who these people are. These are fucking white supremacists. That is not a cop, by the way. That ICE agent, that's not law enforcement. No cop. I have seen more videos put out by police officers and federal agents saying, nope. This is the opposite of everything we're trained to do. That is not a cop. He is not a trained officer. This is not what we do. We don't escalate. We don't run up to people and start punching them in the chest. We don't do that. That is not what cops do. That's not what we train to do. We don't go in one at a time into crowds. We don't do that. We line up together. We issue orders, clear orders. I'm telling you, go to your social media. It is raining videos from actual law enforcement. Chandra Patton, pisses me off that Noam looked at us in the face and tried to spin the narrative that we all saw with our own eyes. My heart breaks for the family. These are the same animals from January 6th. Yep. We are not the same. We are not the same. And screw everybody that tries to say we are. We are not the same. And yeah, I'm going to play that video again for you. Look at this. Shooting a kid with pepper spray. Kid threw a snowball. He threw a snowball. And he tried to run up. And you can see, face level, he's trying to shoot him in the face, man. One more time. I'm going to play it for you one more time. Watch. Kid walks up. Watch the tree area. I know it's kind of chaotic. Watch the area around the tree. The kid runs up and throws a snowball. Put a kid's life in danger. Folks, that is not free. That weapon he just discharged can kill you. If deployed wrong, it can kill you. It can be lethal. It's not intended to be, but it can be. Over a fucking snowball. Jan Rankenberg, 2680. There is a plan and still terror. This was Crystal Knock terror spectacle. No, didn't work. That may have been what they thought was going to happen. All they did was enrage us. And I'm so proud of you folks. I'm so proud of you folks for not taking the bait. I really am. There was some folks that were chucking snowballs at the Minneapolis police. And don't do that. It just muddles the message. It just muddles the message. Protest without doing shit like that. I mean, I'm telling you, I get it. I understand the sentiment. I 100% am of the same heart. I get why you were throwing those snowballs. I understand. But let's not muddle the message. Okay, folks? Let's not. Let's be as absolutely as smart as we can be about this. Miguel Arcentelos, thank you for being here. Thanks for always being here, brother. Longtime supporter. He was shooting while holding a cell phone, not a trained officer. Thanks for what you do. I know, right? I know. There's so much in every one of these videos that people that know what they're looking for are like, nope. And by the way, they cut their training down from 20 weeks to 6 weeks. You want to know why? You want to know why they did that? Tube Kurt, they are there to provoke violence for their narrative, and Tim Walz was right. We cannot give them what they want. Yes, absolutely. Tim Walz 100% Tim Walz came out and told the people of Minnesota that a violent reaction is what that is what Stephen Miller wants more than anything. They are losing the narrative here. They are losing. And they're all over. They got bots all over social media absolutely defending murder and absolutely defending attacking our children. That's a loser. That is a loser. Don't give them anything. Don't give them anything. Do you know why they've cut the training down? Not no one, that's the wrong word. A huge number of their hirees couldn't meet the physical requirements. They couldn't. They just couldn't meet the physical requirements. So they had to cut that portion out of the training. Ollie, 1976. This kid's vote in next. This kid's vote in the next. These kids, I think that's what he's trying to say. These kids vote in the next presidential election. Yes, I agree with you, 100%. Yeah, there you go, bud. Meal Team 6. They did. They had to cut. They had to cut the physical portion of the training out because they couldn't pass the push-up requirements. They couldn't pass the sit-up requirements. They couldn't pass the running requirements. So they just said, no, it's okay. We'll let you be a cop anyway. We'll let you go play cop anyways. But folks, I don't want to leave you with a bad taste in your mouth. I don't. We've had some good things happen. We really have, and this is just one of them. Democrats have been working. They have been working. Despite what you see from people, especially on Blue Sky. God, I tell you what, I don't know what it is about Blue Sky that attracts the doomsayer and naysayers, know nothing about politics, know nothing about our government, people that run their mouths full-throatedly. But they're there. Asborn Newton. People are quitting ICE. Even the Gravy SEALs are going home, as most people think they are losers, and one pull-up is too much for most candidates. Yeah, they don't want to be here for the investigations, folks. They really don't. They really don't want to be here for the investigations. And folks, I want to thank you for buying the memberships. I really do. It has been fabulously successful. I hope you're enjoying the emojis. Still looking for any tips that you've got. Just spoke with Christopher Titus on the phone yesterday. Got his permission to make a Christopher Titus emoji. That's coming in the next day or two. We're on it, man. We're on it. We are. We're going to try to make this as fun as possible. We really are. But the Democrats did this. The Democrats did this. Hakeem Jeffries got several discharge petitions passed through. This was one of them. Democrats forced through a discharge petition. If you read the headlines on this, you would think that the Republicans did this. You would. This is the only headline I could find that did not credit this happening to a couple Republicans that crossed the aisle. And I have actually had people that are supposed to be leftists, when I commended Hakeem Jeffries for getting this done, that actually showed up in my comments wanting to know about the Republicans that voted for it. Fuck the Republicans that voted for it. Democrats did this. Democrats did this. Hakeem Jeffries got this done. Where this sits now, and I've got to tell you, between the inflation and people getting hit with their new healthcare premiums, because when it's Republicans, it just enrages me. We're saving Republicans again. Overwhelmingly, the people that use the exchanges are Republicans. It's like 60-40. Their healthcare rates are have skyrocketed, not are. They have skyrocketed. And here we come, white hat, we're going to save you. So we forced it through the House. It's going to go to the Senate. Right now, ain't looking good in the Senate. It's not. John Thune he's going to delay this as long as possible. He's already come out and said, no, I don't support this. I'm not going to support this. I'm not going to do anything to allow it up for a vote. It's going to take Chuck Schumer forcing this in every way, shape, and form. We've got another government shutdown coming at the end of this month. They may actually have to use that as a bargaining chip to try to get this up for a vote in the Senate, in which case we will actually get a few crossovers in the Senate that will finally vote for this. But it may not be a 3-year. This bill, kudos to Hakeem Jeffries. This was a clean 3-year extension. No dog turd stuffed in the backpack. It was a clean bill. Amazing work. Will it come out of the Senate that way? No. 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 Not at all. Not at all. But they're fighting. The Democrats are fighting to try to get things done, trying to save you dumbass Republicans from yourselves. Gail Brownell, 25, thoughts on Dems threatening shutdown if we do not defund ICE. Thank you for bringing that up. And this is what I want to close the show with. There's Texas Paul, the person, the husband, the grandfather, the dad, and then there's Texas Paul, the political strategist. I want to talk to you from over here right now because it's a given that I want ICE shredded. I want that entire agency burned to the fucking ground. I want every agent that works there fired. I want every agent that broke the law prosecuted. I want it gone. Complete. Border Patrol can do their job without ICE. I want ICE gone forever. Sean Salisbury, thank you for supporting the show. Let's talk about Texas Paul, the political strategist. This shutdown comes at an inopportune time for us. Because if we do what the know-nothings on social media are screaming we need to do, which is shut down the government until we abolish ICE, which will not happen. They will allow the government to be shut down in perpetuity before they get rid of ICE. They will. We're not going to win that fight. But we've got people that don't know shit about politics demanding that we must do it. Folks, what's happening right now economically in most people's households, especially poor folks? What is going on? Where's the next big cash infusion going to come from in most people's houses right now? Come on. You're going to answer that question. Bingo! Have a winner already. Tax refunds, filing taxes. Absolutely. Absolutely. Tax refunds. Y'all get it. Y'all get what's going on right now, right? Y'all get it. What happens? And I've told you over and over and over and over again, narratives are everything. Everything. Democrats shut down the government to kill ICE. Oh, cool. There's a couple people on social media that are ecstatic about that. Woo! We got what we wanted. But what about the stupids? Remember, folks, I told you, you're the smart ones. You're the ones that can sit through this. You're the ones that can sit through economic analysis. You can look at bonds. You can have the conversations that we have every day. You're not the same as George Carlin said it perfectly. There's a lot of dumb motherfuckers out there. You're not them. We're shutting the government down to lose a fight right when people are trying to get their tax returns. And if you think Donald Trump will not delay everybody's tax returns, Dave Barone, thank you for being here, brother. Thank you. You think that he will not delay everybody's tax returns just to go to a mic and tell people who are fucking stupid that Democrats are holding up their tax refund? Yeah. Democrats are holding up your tax refund. And they're doing it because they love immigrants. That is a narrative even fucking stupid people get. Won't be true. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. We have no winning narratives in that scenario. They got us by the shorties on this shutdown. And they know it. They know it. You know what we can get out of this shutdown? This threatened to shut down the government at the end of this month? We can give Republicans cover. Oh, I didn't want to vote. Man, Brolicart billionaire, I didn't want to vote for those ACA subsidies. I really didn't. But you know, they were going to shut the government down. So I had to do it. Had to do it. We can do that because right now Republicans are feeling that pain. But if we try to shut the government down to defund ICE, we are fucked. Now you're going to get a bunch of people over on Blue Sky, especially. I'm telling you, there's something about a certain breed of folks over on Blue Sky that know absolutely shit about politics, but are absolutely speak with the confidence of, you would think that they were the prodigy of fucking Thomas Jefferson himself. The full-throatedness with which they speak, the demands that they make. I had somebody out there yesterday. I had to explain to her, I want Congress to impeach Christy Dome right now. Great. Okay. So they passed articles of impeachment that are doomed to fail because Republicans aren't going to vote for it. Ever. Woo. Oh, wait, you didn't know that Democrats don't hold power? That you took power from them in the last election so that they can't actually impeach somebody? That the only thing that they have are parliamentary tricks, what Hakeem Jeffries just did, to utilize something that we have momentum on and utilize parliamentary tricks. That's all they have. They have no power because we took it from them. But yet these people are telling the actual people that do this for a living, the actual congressmen and women that do this for a living are telling them, you better do this. I'm telling you, folks, and I've got no way, I have no words to shorten that up into a short enough talking point to get that through to the stupids. I don't have a way to do it. I'm going to try to make a video on this, but trying to explain to people what you do have power for and don't have power for going into a shutdown. But I want it. Mr. Knudsen, the radical left is holding up your tax returns to help the Somali asshole people. Yeah, that's exactly. You can hear it. You can hear it. It is shit, but it is a winning narrative for Republicans. It is. It is. It is. But we've already passed a bill to put the Affordable Care Act subsidies back in place. All we want are the Republicans in the Senate to give us a vote. That's all we want. Just give us a vote on the subsidies. We're trying to bring your health care costs down. Republicans, that's 60% of the people. That's you. That's you, Republicans. We want to bring your health care prices down. We can do that. They got $200 billion to dump into bonds. They got the money for these subsidies. They do. We want to do this for you. That's all we're asked for. And let John Thune stand up there and say, no, we're going to close down the government because we don't want them ACA subsidies. We want you to pay more for health care. That's what we want. We want you to pay more for health care, and we're going to shut the government down to do it. Yeah, baby. I'm telling you. Now let's go from political Paul back to me. Fuck ICE. Fuck ICE. And we're going to make a new Fuck ICE cup. We overthought the last one. It's cool. I like it. I was very proud of it. And we're going to keep it. It'll still be available. But we're going to make just as plain as day as MAGA is, useless as taste buds on an asshole. And the fuck Trump cup, thus it's just going to say it either black letter. Matter of fact, y'all folks are here. Y'all are the community. Y'all choose black letters or red letters. It's just going to say fuck ICE. That's it. In Times New Roman, it's going to say fuck ICE. You want it in black or you want it in red? Throw it out there. I want to know before we close the show. You want it in black or red letters? There you go. Red it is. Red it is. That's the new mug we're going to make. And it's easy too. So it'll be quick. Next day or two, look for it. It'll be up. Love you folks. Thanks for being here. Stay hot. Stay hot. I was talking to Christopher Titus about that. We were talking about the shit that Republicans are going to pull in the next message. And Christopher Titus has been hot on that on his show. The way Republicans are cheating, the pitfalls that are ahead of us. He's been doing a great job. We were talking about this yesterday. And this is what I told him. Oh, yeah. They're going to fucking cheat. Oh, yeah. Republicans are going to cheat. We know it. So you got two choices. You can stick your thumb up your butt, one thumb in your butt, one thumb in your mouth, and cry like a little baby, and every once in a while switch thumbs. Or you can help us vote in numbers like we have been doing, that they can't overwhelm us. That they can't, that their cheating cannot overwhelm us. We do have the numbers to do that, by the way. We do. We do. All right, end of the show. I got two jokes for you. Are you ready? All right. I want you to leave on a happy note. What do you call when two people have sex? What's it called when two people have sex? Come on. I want answers. I wanted to see it in the chat. What do you call when two people have sex? Call Rossi. Thanks for being here, brother. Y'all are getting too technical. It's a twosome. What's it called when three people have sex? What's it called when three people have sex? There you go. There you go. It's called a threesome. There you go, a threesome. Yeah, now you know why Mrs. Texas Paul calls me handsome. Now you know why Mrs. Texas Paul calls me handsome. All right. One more quick joke for you. Why does your butt crack run up and down instead of sideways? Why does your butt crack run up and down instead of sideways? Because if it was sideways, every time you went down the slide, it would go. Oh my God. Oh my God. I just wanted you to smile. I just wanted you to have a laugh. I know we talked about a lot of heavy stuff today. We really did. I just want you to smile. Okay? Take a breath. Yeah. These shitty people are going to do a lot of shit, and we're going to have a lot of shit to fix. But between here and there, some things we can't control. Don't let it get you down. I know I got the blues the other day. I really did. I got the blues the other day. I want you to smile. I want you to take a breath. I want you to go outside. I want you to build a snowman. I want you to, whatever you got to do, man. Go for a walk. Cuddle with your dog. I don't have a dog. My wife won't let me have one. I need to rent a dog. I don't have a dog. My wife won't let me have a dog. But anyways, do what you got to do. Find some happiness. Eat a good meal. Drink some good coffee. Do it. Do what you got to do. We need you. You are the smart people. And I mean this, and I try to prove it in every show. You are not the same. You're the thinkers. You're the ones going into this next election where you've got to help control the narratives. You're the ones going into the next election that you've got to help control the narratives. We've got to keep people motivated. And as I was telling Christopher Titus, it's his job and my job to keep people pissed, because voters do not vote to say thank you. Voters vote to say fuck you. And I'm going to spend every day from here to election time pointing out every reason in the world you have to tell the Trump regime fuck you. And I need your help. I need your help. You're the smart ones. We need to be able to go to the stupids. We need to be able to temper stuff like we just talked about with the social media and they better defund ICE in the next shutdown. I need your help. I need your help. You know, they're going to try to shoot us in the foot. Our own side are going to shoot us in the ass because they want ICE defunded. And if we don't do it, you know what I'm saying? I need you, man. I need you. And you're the only people that can do it. So yeah, have a good laugh. Enjoy some time with your, loved ones. Spend some good time with your family. I am. I just want to warn you now, there may not be a Sunday show. I have a thing with my beautiful wife that we're going to be spending some time together. I'm going to do everything I can to make the show happen, but it may not. She's my number one priority. This is a big event. She's what comes first. So may not see you Sunday, folks. I may not. I will try, keep an eye out, but I may not see you Sunday. I love you, folks. This is Old Texas Paul. Enjoy some Texas cities at night.